Well, hello everybody. Now let us proceed with the 12th lesson of Social Studies textbook of class 10, The World Between the World Wars. Why is it important for us to study history? It is important for all of us to study history so that we do not repeat the mistakes which have been committed by our ancestors. The mistakes which have already been committed, not to repeat those mistakes, it is very important for us to have an understanding of history. And if I talk about the biggest mistakes of the world in the 20th century, I would say the World War I and World War II were the biggest mistakes. So now we present before you this particular lesson, the world between the world wars. What shall we learn in this? We shall be learning the history of the world in the first half of 20th century. 20th century means from 1900. The first half means 1900 to 1950. We will try and understand what was the history of the world in the first half of this 20th century. We shall understand what were the causes for these two world wars, and we'll understand what were the results, or I should say the consequences of the world wars. Also, we have to understand why there was a need to create institutions like United Nations to ensure world peace. All these things in a chronology is what we shall be learning very soon. To begin with introduction, we have Eric Hobsbawm, who calls the 20th century as the age of extremes. Extremes matlab inteha. Like for example, if it is summer, we say it is extremely hot. So similarly, the age of extremes, the 20th century was termed like that. It had two extremities. The first extremity was fascism and the other one was democracy. What is fascism? Fascism is unquestioned power. There is only one dictator, one leader who is supreme. He doesn't listen to anybody. Everybody has to follow. There cannot be disagreement. If the leader says that this is how it is, it is. You cannot say no. That is fascism. There is hatred for other people in fascism. But in democracy, as Abe Lincoln described, rule by the people, of the people, for the people have the right to choose their representatives, people have the right to disagree. What is fascism? It is a nationalist political ideology, a single party dictatorship, and all the other facets of fascism as you see them on the screen. Moving ahead, what is democracy? People have the right to vote, the right to choose, there is lots of freedom, there is representation, there is participation in everything. Now let us understand what were the characteristics of the 20th century. If you understand the 20th century, there were new discoveries in the field of medicine, and this led to increased average life expectancy. Now the world was developing. The world was developing in the field of medicine too. People were not dying, children were not dying because there were new discoveries which were being made in the field of medicine. So this increased the life expectancy of people. Then also the literacy levels, they became high as more people got educated. Education was accessible by more people. Literacy levels increased. So now more and more people wanted freedom. More and more people wanted to participate in policy making. Next, there were new art forms which was there. Art forms. Now art was a very important aspect at that particular time, specifically when revolutions and everything were happening. We now had movies, and these art forms, they became known to the people. Moving ahead, we have to understand this, and I stress on this point. There were new discoveries which were made in science, especially about atoms and life. Atoms, the atomic models and all these things, they came up somewhere in the early 20th century. People started to know a lot more about atoms. Now, one more important aspect was that more than 100 countries, they became independent all over the world. Now understand this. There are two captains, both of them are powerful, and suddenly one player comes. Now what happens? The player has to decide kiski team mein jana hai. The world is divided into fascism and democracy. The countries which became independent, 100 or more than 100 countries, they became independent. Now they have to decide which side to go. So if I sum up the 20th century, I would put it as The age of extremes, as described by Eric Hobsbawm, fascism versus democracy, new discoveries in the field of medicine, which led to increased average life expectancy, literacy levels became high as more people got educated, new art forms like movies became known, new discoveries were made in science about atoms in life, and more than 100 countries became independent all over the world. Now look at the extremities, the second extremities, capitalism and socialism. What is capitalism and what is socialism? These are the economic systems which are prevalent. What is capitalism and what is socialism? Let us understand what is socialism first. Socialism, wherein everybody is equal. There is collective ownership. I mean to say, in short, I would say socialism is that form of an economy where schools are only government schools, hospitals, only government hospitals, companies, only government companies. Money, there is no individual owner. Everybody is the owner. The public is the owner. This will help to reduce the class distinctions. The rich don't become richer, the poor don't become poorer. That is one tenet of socialism. There were, if you can look at this, all that which is red, these are all socialist countries. This part of the world was all socialist. If we talk about capitalism, it has both the goods and the bad. See, capitalism is like hospitals are private, colleges are private, schools are private, companies are private. What are the pros and the cons, the advantages and the disadvantages? In short, if I have to list the advantages, there is lots of motivation. You work, and when you work, you know that you will earn profit and you become rich. That gives you lots of motivation to work. Else, if it is a government company, if it is a government school, if it is a government hospital, the doctors or the teachers or the employees do not have motivation to work. Why? Because they know मेहनत करो या नहीं करो, कैसा भी सैलरी तो मिलेगी. But in private companies which are owned by private individuals under the capitalist economy, what basically happens is the more you work, the better you earn. So people are motivated to work. Understanding this, if we talk about the disadvantages of capitalism, yes, monopolistic companies, they might price things higher, then there might be exploitation of laborers, all these things. So both socialism has its own advantages and disadvantages. Capitalism has its own advantages and disadvantages. That is the reason why, if you talk about India, India chose a mixed economic system wherein you have both. There is a government school, there is a private school. There is a government hospital, there is a private hospital. There is a government company, there is a private company. In that way, we talked about the mixed economic system. Now let us look at the countries of the world. If you look at the countries of the world, the countries were divided into two. They were the developed industrialized countries of the West. Extremities, again, ये एक और distinction. पहला है distinction, fascism, democracy. Second distinction, socialism, capitalism. ये वाला third distinction देखिए. Developed industrialized countries of the West, colonized countries of Asia and Africa. जो डेवलप कंट्रीज थे वेस्ट के, ब्रिटेन, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका, जर्मनी, फ्रांस, इटली, they were all the developed and the industrialized countries. What we talk about the colonies, India, South Africa, these all were the colonies. I mean, ये लोग यहाँ पे आके, इंडिया में आके, they were ruling over us. We were colonies of the developed countries. This is one extreme again. If you talk about the industrialized countries, there were two groups now here. Germany, Austria, Hungary, the European countries, Germany, Austria, Hungary, they were one group. Britain, France, Russia, this was the other group. Now both of them, both the groups, Germany, Austria, Hungary मिलके या Britain, France, Russia, they wanted to dominate over the world by controlling as many colonies and markets as possible. जितने ज्यादा countries को अपना गुलाम बना लो उतना अच्छा है. इस किस्म का competition चल रहा था. There was a competition amongst these two groups. Germany, Austria, Hungary, one group. Britain, France, Russia, the second group. The First World War began in 1914. Now, everybody, please be with me. You will be understanding, but pay attention to the entire video. You will be understanding the whole cause. The First World War, it began in 1914. It was really a world war because all countries of the world took part in the war. The First World War ended in 1918. 4 years of war. 4 years of war. Britain and France, they defeated Germany and allies in the war. Remember this? Remember this, everybody? The countries were divided into Germany, Austria, Hungary as one group, Britain, France, and Russia as the other group. The war was between these two. And what happened? Britain and France, they defeated Germany and allies in the war. So this is the First World War, which starts in 1914, finishes in 1918. What happens? The war is between Germany, Austria, Hungary on one side, Britain, France, Russia on the other side. After the war, Britain and France, they defeat Germany and the allies in the war. Let us understand the causes now. तो एक सरसरी अंदाज में आपको पता चल गया कि वर्ल्ड वॉर 1 1914 it starts, 1918 it finishes. The war is between Germany, Austria, Hungary on one side, Britain, France and Russia on the other side. Britain and France, they defeat Germany and are declared as victorious. Now let us understand what were the causes of these world wars. Why this world war happened? The first cause was aggressive nationalism. Aggressive nationalism. What is aggressive nationalism? Aggressive nationalism. First, let us understand the meaning of the word nationalism. Nationism means love. Nationalism is loving your nation. That is good. I love India. That is good. But what is aggressive nationalism? I love only India. I hate China. I hate Bangladesh. I hate other countries. This is aggressive nationalism. You have the right to love your country, undoubtedly, but you're not supposed to hate other countries. Aggressive nationalism was that I love Britain because I am a British and I hate Germany. I am a German. I love Germany, but I hate France. Aggression. Aggression is इंतहा पसंदी, शिद्दत से. Aggressive nationalism. Nationalism was initially a positive impulse. अच्छी बात थी नेशन को लव करना. इट वॉज रेस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ इटली एंड जर्मनी. जस्ट लाइक इंडियन अगर फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल आप देखोगे तो लव टुवर्ड्स इंडिया united all the kingdoms of India and India became one nation. So it was responsible for unification of Italy and Germany. But this created pride in these nations and hatred against neighbors. इस वजह से क्या हो गया? What happened is they started getting that kind of a feeling, the superiority kind of a feeling, and they hated their neighbors. Fascism in Italy, National Socialism of German Nazis, they mobilized people against other nations of Europe. They said, we are Germans, we are here to rule, and they started fighting with other countries. The first cause was aggressive nationalism. The second cause was imperialism. What is imperialism? Imperialism is country taking over the control of other countries. एक country दूसरे country को गुलाम बनाना, that is imperialism. Now what basically happened is industrialization बढ़ जाने की वजह से in countries like Britain, Germany and US, they wanted two things. सबसे पहले तो इंडस्ट्रीज के लिए they wanted raw materials. अब इंडस्ट्री में कोई चीज बनना है, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर क्लॉथ बनना है तो उसके लिए कॉटन चाहिए. कॉटन यूरोप में नहीं उगता है. इट ग्रोज इन एशिया एंड अफ्रीका. इंडिया में, साउथ अफ्रीका में उगता है. So they wanted countries which can grow raw materials to be their slaves. उनको अपना गुलाम बना लो. Second, अब इंडस्ट्रीज इतना प्रोड्यूस करेंगे, इतना कॉटन यहां से लेके जा रहे हैं, इतने ज्यादा टेक्सटाइल्स प्रोड्यूस करेंगे. अब ये टेक्सटाइल्स को बेचने के लिए उनके पास मार्केट भी होना ना. कहां बेचे? यूरोप उतना ज्यादा टेक्सटाइल्स तो नहीं बेचेगा. तो दे यूज्ड टू सेल इट बैक टू अस. माने यहां से रॉ मटेरियल्स लेना. दे यूज्ड टू टेक रॉ मटेरियल्स फ्रॉम हियर, manufacture in their company and again sell back that manufactured good to us. So there was a race for colonies between European powers. Newly emerged powers like Germany and Italy wanted to redivide the colonies and this created tension led towards war. ये countries थे ना, Germany and Italy, ये लोग नया यूनिफिकेशन हुआ था इनका recently. तो लोग बोले नहीं, only France and Britain क्यों? Even we will take up colonies. इसकी वजह से there was tension between these countries. If we talk about the third one, this is very important. Secret alliances. Alliance इसको बोलते हैं. Alliance माने एक दूसरे से जुड़ने को. And this was happening secretly. Countries, they made secret associations and were jealous and suspicious of one another. एक country, Germany, जर्मनी को डर है किससे? ब्रिटेन से, फ्रांस से, रशिया से। तो जर्मनी और ऑस्ट्रिया और हंगरी तीनों मिलके एक जगह हो गए। टॉक अबाउट ब्रिटेन, ब्रिटेन को डर है जर्मनी से, तो ब्रिटेन किसको साथ मिला लिया? अपने फ्रांस से। माने ग्रुप्स होना स्टार्ट हो गए। जर्मनी, ऑस्ट्रिया, इटली, दे फॉर्म द ट्रिपल अलायंस। रशिया, फ्रांस एंड ब्रिटेन, दे फॉर्म द ट्रिपल entente, spelling it E-N-T-E-N-T-E. It is entente, triple entente. These alliances created an atmosphere of fear and armed peace in Europe. इस तरह के अलायंसेस की वजह से लोग एक दूसरे से डरना स्टार्ट कर रहे थे, एंड दिस लेड टू आर्म्ड पीस इन यूरोप. एंड नाउ वी टॉक अबाउट मिलिटरिज्म. Militarism, it is like people during that time thought military power is the best way to ensure security and to solve problems. Military power is supreme, they thought. See, always what we have to understand is military power is not supreme. Like for example, only to explain, if India says no, all those who don't want, all those people who are terrorists in Kashmir, I'll kill everybody. That is not the solution. If you start killing people like this, you are killing your own people, because Kashmiris are Indians. Okay, so military power is not the best way, but it was thought at that time, earlier 19th century, early 20th century, in the year 1900s, it was a belief that military power is the best way to solve problems. And the military expenditure of 6 powerful countries, it increased by 3 times. And if they were spending 1 crore rupees in 1880, by 1900s they are spending 3 crore rupees. It increased by 3 times of these 6 powerful countries. Now, what is militarism? Please understand this. Militarism, massive standing armies for country's defense. What happened? Every country को दूसरे country पे डाउट है, तो लोग अपनी आर्मीज के ऊपर बहुत खर्चा कर रहे हैं, सब लोगों को आर्मीज में भर्ती करते जा रहे हैं. मैसिव स्टैंडिंग आर्मीज. अब जब आर्मी में आप किसी को भर्ती करते हो तो सोल्जर्स का खाना, सोल्जर्स का सैलरी, एवरीथिंग, फूड, हेल्थ, शेल्टर, एवरीथिंग हैज टू बी टेकन केयर ऑफ. इसके लिए क्या चाहिए? पैसा. पैसा कहां से आएगा? लोगों के जो बेसिक नीड्स है वहां से कट हो जा रहे हैं. लोगों को, बच्चों के स्कूल में इन्वेस्ट गवर्नमेंट नहीं कर रही है. क्यों? क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट को इन्वेस्ट करना है अपनी आर्मी में. कंट्रीज कंपीटेड विद ईच अदर टू इंक्रीज मिलिटरी वेपन्स. ब्रिटेन ने इतने ज्यादा मिसाइल से इतने ज्यादा गन्स खरीदे हैं, तो जर्मनी को डर, इतने ज्यादा उन्हें हथियार खरीदा, तो नाउ ही ऑल्सो वांट्स टू बाय. तो एवरीबडी इज नाउ बाइंग वेपन्स. बाइंग वेपन्स कॉस्ट मनी. मनी कम्स फ्रॉम वेयर? इट कम्स फ्रॉम द पीपल. दे कलेक्ट टैक्सेस. ओके, महंगाई बढ़ जाती है, हर चीज बढ़ जाती है, बिकॉज द गवर्नमेंट वांट्स मनी टू बाय वेपन्स. And now we have emergence of a large industry of weapons which promoted wars. Now what happened? अब weapons खरीदना है तो weapons बनाने वाली कंपनियां भी आ गई. अब बनाने वाली कंपनी क्या करी? एक से एक बड़े से बड़ा weapon बना रही है. And why are they making that weapon? जितना महंगा weapon, जितना अच्छा weapon बनाएंगे, उन्हें एक ब्रिटेन को बेचता, फिर वही कंपनी वाला ऑपोजिट कंट्री यानी जर्मनी को बोलता इससे अच्छा वेपन ये है, आप ये ले लो. अब ये जो कंपनीज है ये चाहते हैं कि वॉर हो. वाई? बिकॉज लोगों ने पैसा लगाया है. दे हैव मैन्युफैक्चर्ड सो मेनी वेपन्स. अंडरस्टैंडिंग देयर आर सो मेनी रीजंस बिहाइंड वर्ल्ड वॉर्स. सो वी हैव अंडरस्टूड 4 एज ऑफ नाउ. फर्स्ट वी टॉक्ड अबाउट एग्रेसिव नेशनलिज्म, then we talked about imperialism, then we said secret alliances, then we talked about militarism. Now we talk about a very important aspect, the Balkan politics. Now, there were many small kingdoms in the Balkan Peninsula. People belonging to different languages, religions, sects were living there. Now, this was under the rule of the Ottoman Turkey Empire. आपकी बुक में रहता है OTTOMAN. It is Ottoman, but in general, the Islamic kingdom of Osman. In Islamic history, we call it as Dawr-e Usmani. The Ottoman Turkey Empire, after its fall, Austria, Germany, Turkey, Russia, they wanted to control that particular area. Russia and Turkey, they were trying to control, look at this part, the Black Sea, and this part, the Mediterranean Sea, into their hands for a long time. So there was always a tense situation. At the same time, Austria was trying to suppress the Serbian rebels in Bosnia. बॉस्निया बोल के एक जगह है, वहां पे सर्बिया के लोग रिबेल कर रहे थे और ऑस्ट्रिया उस रिवोल्ट को दबाने की कोशिश कर रही थी, who were against the rule of Austria. So this was Balkan politics, a very important aspect and an important cause for the First World War. Now, if you look at the immediate cause of World War I, if you look at the immediate cause for the World War I, what happens? Let us understand. In 1914, a Serbian extremist had assassinated the Crown Prince of Austria-Hungary. सर्बियन का एक सर्बियन दहशतगर्द ने क्राउन प्रिंस ऑफ ऑस्ट्रिया हंगरी को मार दिया. ऑस्ट्रिया डिक्लेयर्स वॉर ऑन सर्बिया ऑन 28 जुलाई 1914. ऑस्ट्रिया वॉर किस पे डिक्लेयर करता है? सर्बिया पे. सर्बिया को बचाने के लिए रशिया कम्स. सर्बिया को बचाने के लिए हु कम्स? रशिया कम्स इन द डिफेंस ऑफ सर्बिया. जर्मनी जो ऑस्ट्रिया की साइड वाला है, he attacks France and Belgium, who were allies of Russia. Britain, to defend France and Belgium, Britain joins the war against Germany. So all the countries of the Europe were at war except Switzerland. Ottoman Empire joined the war in November and Japan and US a little later. They have joined wars later. Now look at this. First, what is the instance? The Serbian extremist kills the Crown Prince of Austria-Hungary. Austria attacks Serbia. Russia defends Serbia by attacking Austria. ये देख के Germany attacks France and Belgium. France and Belgium पे इन्हों अटैक करे बोल के Britain attacks Germany. So all the nations of Europe were at war. Since most of these countries had colonies in Asia and Africa, countries like India, Egypt, China, Iraq, Iran, they were also forced to join the war. इंडिया के सोल्जर्स को ब्रिटेन के लिए लड़ना पड़ रहा था, वहां जाके यहां से सोल्जर्स को वहां लेके जा रहे. पीपल वेर नॉट एक्साइटेड अबाउट द वॉर. जस्ट इमेजिन इंडियन सोल्जर्स ब्रिटेन के वास्ते वहां पे लड़ रहे और मर रहे. दे आर नॉट एक्साइटेड अबाउट वॉर. दे वेर अंडर अनडेमोक्रेटिक किंग्स विदाउट एनी राइट्स. पीपल वेर अंडर किंग्स. They were not having any rights. But war brought misery and suffering to the poor. They were forced to join the armies, fight and die. ये जंग के लिए they were forced to join the armies, fight and die. And as you know, पूरा पैसा लगा जंग पे, तो there was shortage of food, clothing, medicines because of war. All over Europe, revolutionary movements started against the governments of the countries participating in the war. अब क्या हुआ? लोग रिवोल्ट करना शुरू करे. We don't want war. The first such revolution occurred in Russia in 1970. सबसे पहला रेवोल्यूशन जहां पे लोगों ने अब अपने राजाओं के खिलाफ होकर बोला हमको लड़ाई नहीं चाहिए. We do not want war. That happened in Russia in 1970. उसके बाद ऐसा ही मूवमेंट इटली और जर्मनी में भी हुआ. In India, the national movement against Britain had become strong. Mahatma Gandhi launched Satyagraha against British rule in Bihar's Champaran district on April 10th, 1917. Even now, people of India, they also launched the Satyagraha against the British. सबसे पहले Russia opted out of war. Russia बोली नहीं, I am not fighting. Why? Because the Russian Revolution, people participated and they were forcing the czars, the rulers, not to fight. Germany agreed to have peace the next year. The First World War ended on 11th November 1918 with the victory of Britain and its allies, France, US and Japan. If you now understand the allies versus the central powers, the allies were the Russian Empire, the Romanian Empire, France, Portugal, Italy, Greece, Serbia, Great Britain and the US, and the central powers were German, Austro-Hungarian Empire, Bulgaria and Ottoman Empire. This is how the whole world was divided. Now what happened? War हुआ, लोगों के अंदर बेचैनी हुई. So now the diplomats of all the warring nations, वहां के बड़े बड़े ऑफिसर्स अलग अलग नेशंस के, they gathered in Paris in 1919 and after long negotiations माने बातचीत, they signed the Treaty of Versailles. This was to end the war and redraw political boundaries of European countries. 1918 में वॉर खत्म होता है. 1919 में पूरे कंट्रीज के डिप्लोमेट्स यानी मिनिस्टर्स, एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर, ये सारे लोग मिलके आफ्टर लॉन्ग नेगोशिएशन दे साइन अ ट्रीटी. दैट साइन द ट्रीटी is called as the Treaty of Peace. It was signed at a place called Versailles, so it is called as the Treaty of Versailles. This was to end the war and redraw political boundaries. फिर से एक बार political boundaries, अपने अपने countries के boundaries उतारने थे. Treaty signed, war over. Now there is peace in the world is what people understand, and it is called as the Treaty of Peace between the Allied and Associate powers in Germany. Okay, so what is Treaty of Versailles? Britain and its three allies imposed the terms and conditions. अब आपको मालूम है ना, ब्रिटेन जीता था, तो Treaty of Versailles में conditions, शरायत जो थे वो ब्रिटेन रख रहा था. They imposed the terms and conditions of the treaty on the defeated powers and other small countries. जो लोग हार गए थे वॉर में, उनके ऊपर ब्रिटेन ने ये conditions रखे. The Austro-Hungarian and the Ottoman Empire were dissolved and broken up into small nation states. देखिए दुश्मनों के साथ किस तरह से बिहेव हो रहा है. The Austro-Hungarian जितना भी एम्पायर था, ओस्मान एम्पायर जितना भी था, वो पूरों को छोटे 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 हिस्सों में बांट दिया गया था. Russian Empire was dissolved by the revolutionaries earlier only. रशिया में लोग रिवोल्ट करके पूरा रशियन एम्पायर को डिसॉल्व कर दिया था. German Empire was broken up and replaced by Democratic Republic. आपको याद है ना, ऑस्ट्रिया, हंगरी, जर्मनी, इनके खिलाफ लड़ा था ब्रिटेन, फ्रांस एंड रशिया. ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस जीतने के बाद क्या कर रहा है, ऑस्ट्रिया हंगेरियन एम्पायर को पूरा स्प्लिट, जर्मनी में एम्पायर को पूरा स्प्लिट, ओस्मान एम्पायर को पूरा स्प्लिट, एवरीथिंग, बिकॉज दे आर विक्टोरियस. Ottoman Empire was replaced by Republic of Turkey and their colonies in Africa were divided amongst victorious powers. देखिए, उस्मान एम्पायर के बजाय रिपब्लिक ऑफ टर्की बना दिया गया, और उस्मान एम्पायर के जो कॉलोनीज थे अफ्रीका में, द विक्टोरियस पावर्स यानी ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस, वो लोग वो कॉलोनीज ले ली. ट्रीटी ऑफ वर्साई posed heavy penalty on Germany, both in monetary terms as huge war indemnity to victorious allies, and it lost a lot of its territory to France. ये जो विक्टोरियस पावर्स थे ब्रिटेन और फ्रांस, दोनों ने जर्मनी को इतना बड़ा जो जंग का तवाने जंग जो होता है ना, आई मीन वॉर इंडेमनिटी जिसको बोलते हैं, माने हारे सो लोग जीते सो वालों को जितने पैसे देना रहता है, a heavy monetary price was taken, and whatever territories were there, those territories were given to France. Okay, so the Treaty of Versailles, although it was Treaty of Peace, the Treaty of Versailles was very harsh on those who lost the war, because everything was dictated by Britain and France. तो जर्मनी के साथ बहुत ज्यादा नाइंसाफी हुई. ओटोमन एम्पायर ब्रोकन अवे, ऑस्ट्रियो हंगेरियन एम्पायर ब्रोकन अवे. दिस वाज द ट्रीटी ऑफ Versailles. Now, if you look at the Article 231, it was determined that Germany was responsible for all the losses of the war. Now see here, two countries are fighting. Britain, France are fighting together, and Germany, Austria, Hungary are fighting together. मगर इस वॉर की जिम्मेदारी और वॉर में जितना भी लॉस हुआ उसकी जिम्मेदारी किस पर है, जर्मनी के ऊपर है. So after this, what happened is, now the first ever international organization which was formed as a consequence of Treaty of Versailles, एक Treaty of Versailles की जो peace treaty है उसके बाद एक institution बनाया गया, एक ऐसा organization बनाया गया which was an international organization, जिसका basic reason was to prevent wars. It was founded on 11th January 1920. It was formed to prevent wars. कैसा wars prevent करना? Settle dispute through negotiations. जो भी problems है बातचीत से उसको सुलझाओ. Ensure disarmament or reduce manufacturing of arms. Disarmament, armament माने हथियार खरीदना, disarmament यानी हथियारों पे रोक लगाएगा. तो लीग ऑफ नेशंस का बेसिक काम क्या था? हथियारों पे रोक लगाना. And reduce manufacturing of arms. It had 58 members. बहुत कम सक्सेस थी. It could not prevent the Second World War. World War I के बाद लीग ऑफ नेशंस बना था. It could not prevent the Second World War. Second World War फिर हुआ. 1946 में इसको खत्म कर दिया गया, लीग ऑफ नेशंस को डिसॉल्व कर दिया गया. तो लीग ऑफ नेशंस, इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स, फर्स्ट एवर इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन which was formed to maintain peace in the world by trying to prevent wars, by settling disputes through negotiation. It had 58 members, limited success, could not prevent World War II, dissolved in 1946. Now we move ahead towards the Russian Revolution of 1917 to 1922. Now, please understand this. Why Russian Revolution, or I would call it as the Russian Socialist Revolution, happened. Peasants and workers of Russia were tired of war and its sufferings. Peasants are farmers, workers, you know what was happening. Entire amount given to the army. They were tired of it. They were tired because they didn't have food to eat. They didn't have good medical facilities. They were tired of it. So they revolted against Tsar in February 1917. Tsar is the king of Russia. तो क्योंकि उनको ये सारे प्रॉब्लम्स हो रहे थे, इन लोगों ने बगावत कर दी, they revolted. Tsar was forced to abdicate the throne and a new democratic republic was established. Tsar भाग गया और एक नया डेमोक्रेटिक रिपब्लिक जहां पे लोगों को हक मिला चुनने का उनके लीडर को, it was established. Peasants and workers expected new government to declare peace and take up land reforms. But this did not happen. जैसा नई गवर्नमेंट बनी, लोग ये एक्सपेक्ट करें कि नाउ नो वॉर, मगर व्हाट हैपेंड, वो गवर्नमेंट बोली नहीं, ऑलरेडी अपन जंग लड़ रहे हैं, अपनी कंट्री की इज्जत का सवाल है. दे डिड नॉट इमीडिएटली कम आउट ऑफ वॉर. इसकी वजह से अगेन इन अक्टूबर, फरवरी में रेवोल्यूशन हुआ, फिर अगेन पीपल इन अक्टूबर दे रिवोल्टेड इन अक्टूबर 1970. दिस रेवोल्यूशन, ये रेवोल्यूशन होते ही रशिया ऑप्टेड आउट ऑफ वॉर. इसीलिए आप सुनिए, जब से जो हम बार बार बोल रहे हैं, ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस वन द वॉर, ब्रिटेन एंड फ्रांस, बिकॉज रशिया बीच में हट गया वॉर में से. उसके बाद व्हाट हैपेंड, लैंड फ्रॉम लैंडलॉर्ड्स वेर कॉन्फिस्केटेड एंड रीडिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड एंड कंट्रोल ऑफ फैक्ट्रीज केम इनटू द हैंड ऑफ वर्कर्स. जमींदारों के पास से जमीन छीन ली गई, उनको लोगों तक पहुंचाया गया, आम मजदूरों तक. और फैक्ट्रीज में भी सिर्फ मालिक की हुकूमत नहीं चलने लगी, देयर वर यूनियंस, वर्कर यूनियंस, और फैक्ट्रीज का वर्किंग एंड कंट्रोल दे केम इन द हैंड ऑफ वर्कर्स. फॉर्मर कॉलोनीज वेर फ्री एंड कुड फॉर्म देयर ओन गवर्नमेंट्स. जो रशिया के कॉलोनीज थे उन लोगों को आजाद कर दिया गया, बोले तुम अपनी अपनी गवर्नमेंट बना लो. सपोर्टर्स ऑफ जार एंड लैंडलॉर्ड्स फॉट विद द हेल्प ऑफ allied powers. It was not until 1924 government was able to stabilize new kind of society based on collective agriculture, state planned economy started. ये वाली देखिए, अभी कैसा हो गया, अब एक न्यू काइंड ऑफ सोसाइटी स्टार्ट हुई. व्हाट इज इट, कलेक्टिव एग्रीकल्चर. एवरीबडी इज टिलिंग द लैंड, एवरीबडी इज टिलिंग द लैंड, माने हर इंसान जमीन के ऊपर जो एग्रीकल्चर है वो सब, हर कोई मेहनत कर रहा है. There is nobody who is like the owner, the landlord or things like that. State planned economy had started and many former colonies of Russian Empire joined. अब ऐसे में ये मॉडल देख के जो कॉलोनीज जिनको फ्री कर दिए थे, वो लोग क्या करें, चलो अपन सब लोग मिलके एक यूनियन बना लेंगे. एंड दे फॉर्म the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, that is USSR. They formed the USSR. Okay, that was the Russian revolutions. Let us have a little more insight about the Russian Revolution. It was on March 8th, 1917 that around 10,000 women of the capital St. Petersburg took out a procession. 10,000 women took out a procession and they said peace and bread. Yani aman और रोटी. Workers also joined them. 10,000 women started. Workers also joined. जो लोग फैक्ट्रीज में काम करने वाले जितने मजदूर थे, everybody joined. Tsar Nicholas II was really upset. Why are people coming out on roads? What he said? He sent the army to suppress them. He sent the army. He said, go, stop them. What happened now? Instead of suppressing the armies, the soldiers also joined the demonstrators because they were also fed up of war. In just 2 days, situation became so bad that Tsar left the throne and he escaped. Russians made a provisional government. Then this was the first revolution, also called as the March Revolution of 1970. But what happened? Immediately peace was not restored. A bigger revolution took place in 1917. What happened is they decided to continue the war for the sake of honor of Russia. अरे रशिया की भी कोई इज्जत ऐसा वॉर में से बीच में से निकल गए तो रशिया की क्या इज्जत रह जाती, ये सोच के जो न्यू गवर्नमेंट थी डिड नॉट बैक ऑफ फ्रॉम द वॉर. बट पीपल डिड नॉट लिसन टू इट. People wanted peace. So what they did is they began organizing themselves in councils which were called as Soviets. लोग अपनी अपनी एक जमात बनाना स्टार्ट करें. Understanding this, the Soviet of soldiers, पूरे soldiers एक जगह, industrial workers एक जगह. Understanding, people in rural areas were united by a group of Russian Communist Party called Bolsheviks. Understand this, it is very important. All these people were united by one group, and that group was called as the Bolsheviks. It was a communist party. Now what happened is this group, Bolsheviks, they represented the common people's power. Here we introduce to you our leader Vladimir Lenin. He was the leader of the Bolsheviks. Now they were able to get the support of Soviets because Bolsheviks said immediate peace, unconditional peace, immediate stop war. They also demanded that, again, as I said, all lands should be nationalized and redistributed to the peasants. Now all these things happened under the leadership of Lenin. The Soviets under the Bolshevik leadership seized power in November 1917. November 1917. And then after the second revolution, Russia backed out from the war. I hope this is very clear with regard to Bolsheviks. The Bolsheviks also announced the end of Russian Empire, and as I said, the colonies were made free, and a new economic system was in place wherein everything was under the control of people, and then again they formed the USSR, as I already stated. After the death of Lenin in 1924, Stalin, he emerged as the leader of Communist Party. Over the next decades, he established absolute control and he put an end to all opposition. ध्यान से सुनो, यहाँ से क्या हो रहा है? Absolute control, end of opposition. We are going towards fascism. We are going towards fascism, wherein you do not have a right to disagree. You have to agree with whatever the government says. He used his undisputed power to build the economy of USSR. USSR started a planned economic development program called 5-year plan. You know, this 5-year plan, even Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he took this plan when the Indian economy was being revived after the economic drain by the Britishers. This program had a twin policy: fast industrialization and collectivization of agriculture. Now you see what was the impact of Russian Revolution on the world. What happened in Russia, it inspired people all over the world, especially those who were committed to the ideas of equality and national liberation. These people, they now became communists and they tried for communist revolutions. Now please understand this, even in India, if you look at it, there were Rajas, Zamindars, we had the Zamindari system. So now people were inspired by Russia. Wonderful. No Zamindar, nothing. Everybody is the owner of the land. Land has been distributed to everybody. So इसमें अमीर और गरीब का जो भेदभाव है, that was minimized. Many Indian leaders like M.N. Roy, Tagore, Nehru were also inspired by it, even though they did not agree with many aspects of communism. Like इंस्पायर हुए थे, मगर कम्युनिज्म की जो दूसरे आइडियाज थे, जैसा ऑपोजिशन को एकदम साइलेंट कर देना, उसके ऊपर कंट्रोल करना, दे वर नॉट ओके विद दोज आइडियाज. बट हाँ, यहाँ पे जहाँ पे सोसाइटी की बात आ रही है, इक्वालिटी की बात आ रही है, पीपल वर इंस्पायर्ड बाय कम्युनिज्म. मेनी पीपल वर ऑल्सो हॉरिफाइड बाय द वायलेंस यूज्ड बाय यूएसएसआर टू सप्रेस द ऑपोजिशन and denial of multi-party democracy. They were horrified कि भाई आप एक ऐसी कंट्री में रहते हो जहां पे you cannot disagree, you cannot say anything against the government. That was something. Now, if you look at this satiric novel Animal Farm, written by George Orwell, he has highlighted how the ideals of Russian Revolution were suffering in USSR. So that was the Russian Revolution. From here, we come towards the economic depression, 1929 to 1939. Now, what is economic depression? It started around the end of 1929 and lasted almost in 1939. 10 years. Economic depression. When the Second World War started, that time the economic depression comes to an end. This decade, the economy declined worldwide because of a decline in demand and fall in prices. People did not want to buy, or I should say they didn't have money to buy. And there was a fall in prices. Factories were closed because demand was low. Since goods were manufactured in limited quantity, prices increased. Factories बंद हो गए. जो factories बना रही हैं वो लोग अपने प्रोडक्ट का प्राइस बहुत हाई कर दे रही थी. Because of expensive goods, people's purchasing power reduced. क्योंकि goods महंगे हो गए, लोग खरीद नहीं रहे थे. So the demand of goods further went down. अब कोई खरीदने वाला भी नहीं बचा था. This cyclical effect caused massive unemployment. इस वजह से बहुत ज्यादा unemployment हुआ and the incomes of ordinary people as governments across the world also declined. Initially, a stock market collapsed in the US, but very soon it affected almost every country. You know, the same thing happened. Economic slowdown happened in 2009 also, if you remember. 2009, 10 years ago, we had this. But India was saved from this particular economic downturn. The reason was we had our very own economic system which was informal. In America, as many as 25% and nearly 33% people in many other countries were unemployed. 25% were unemployed. They don't have jobs. As factories closed down, trade declined, cities became centers of decline. This led to reduced prices, up to 60% of agricultural produce, causing pauperization of millions of farmers and stopping of cultivation. People stopped cultivating. They could not buy, they could not bear the expenses of cultivation. Such was the horrible state. Economic depression, no jobs, factories closed down, demand further falling down, prices going very high, things like that. This was the longest and the worst economic decline faced by modern economy till today. आज तक इतना खराब economical state of the world was not seen. The consequences were devastating. Poverty increased, desolation increased, homelessness increased. Economists and politicians have discussed the causes of this decline and ways to get over it and the possible ways of preventing it from happening again. Now we have a new economist, Marxist. The Marxist economists argued that this kind of crisis happened because of capitalism. They also thought that it could be prevented by establishment of socialism. On the other hand, we had Keynes who argued that state is responsible to keep the economy going. What basically happened? आप ownership individual private individuals को दे दे रहे, factories को दे दे रहे, factories appoint कर ले रहे 1000 factory के नौकरों को. Then they say आज कल से factory बंद, 1000 लोग unemployed. Where do they go? So Marxist people said it is capitalism which is responsible, whereas J.M. Keynes, he said no, government is responsible. अगर आप उन 1000 लोगों को एक फैक्ट्री वाला अपॉइंट कर रहा है तो उन 1000 लोगों की फिक्र करना गवर्नमेंट की जिम्मेदारी है. ही कैन नॉट शट डाउन जस्ट लाइक दैट. सर करेक्ट है ना सर, गवर्नमेंट की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, करेक्ट है, मगर अगर गवर्नमेंट की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी तो गवर्नमेंट इस फैक्ट्रीज खोलना, गवर्नमेंट डज नॉट हैव दैट मच ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट. देखिए एक प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एक फैक्ट्री खोल के 1000 लोगों को अगर एम्प्लॉयमेंट दे रहा है तो इट इज गुड फॉर द इकोनॉमी, मगर the government also has to take steps to ensure that बीच अधर छोड़ देना नहीं, फैक्ट्रीज को क्लोज होने नहीं देना. Understanding this is what happened that time, and for 10 years there was huge economic depression. Understanding. Franklin Roosevelt, who became the president of US, announced the New Deal which promised relief to the victims of depression. Franklin Roosevelt was there who announced relief for the victims of depression. He reformed the financial institutions and took steps to ensure economic recovery. However, when the war started, the Second World War started, expenditure on armies, arms, they suddenly increased. This increased the factory production and demand for farm produce. He also introduced the much needed social security system in the US. US में social security system is very helpful. It was needed at that point of time. It established a permanent system of universal retirement pensions. हमारे पास the state government also, now Telangana state government also, it gives pensions to the people for social security. So all these things were helped. We also had the insurance policies, and then we also had the US government giving welfare benefits for the handicapped and the needy children and families without fathers, all these things. If you look at Great Britain, in Great Britain, the Great Britain had taken lead in this direction even before the depression. When the war was still on, they started becoming a welfare state. Now what is a welfare state? A state which ensured basic minimum dignified life for all citizens. India is basically a welfare state. That means it is the responsibility of the government to ensure that people don't be hungry. That is why 2 rupees kg chawal, 1 rupee kg rice is what you get. That is the idea of a welfare state. People should have a minimum dignified life, free education to all the poor children, all these things. These are the ideas. These ideas emerged after the Great Economic Depression, wherein government thought that it is responsible for the people. It has to take enough steps to ensure that people lead a very dignified life. Now, we have seen this in the West. We have seen all this in Britain, we have seen it in US. Now, what was economic depression in Germany? Now, Germany, we are talking about Germany, 1929 means they finished the First World War and they paid a heavy price to Britain. बहुत सारा पैसा दिया. They lost everything. Their territories were given to France. The Treaty of Versailles was very harsh on them. What was economic depression in Germany? Let us see. Germany faced severe crisis after war. It was paying war damages, and now what happened is the German government began to print currency notes. धनाधन पैसे छापना स्टार्ट कर दिया. Now this caused inflation. Means what? Inflation means महंगाई. माने in 100 rupees you would get only 1 kg sugar, like that. Why? Because the government is going on printing currency. Okay, it is said that people had to carry currency in carts to buy 1 loaf of bread. एक ब्रेड खरीदने के लिए बैल मंडी के अंदर पैसे भर के लेके जाना पड़ रहा था फॉर बाइंग वन ब्रेड. दिस इज इन्फ्लेशन. द जर्मन इकोनॉमी वाज वर्स्ट हिट बाय डिप्रेशन. 1932 तक तो इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन वाज रिड्यूस्ड टू 40%. जितना 1929 में प्रोड्यूस कर रहे थे 40% कम हो गया. वर्कर्स लॉस्ट देयर जॉब. They were paid reduced wages, salary नहीं दे सकते भाई. These things also you heard after the famous notebandi, after demonetization. What happened? पैसे नहीं है भाई. I cannot pay you. I don't have money. This is something which happened like that. Now, the situation was that people who were educated, they put around their neck cards and it was written, willing to do any work. कुछ भी करते, मजदूरी कर लेते. That was the state of economy in Germany during the economic depression. Willing to do any work. Unemployed youth played cards or simply sat at street corners. Local employment exchange में इधर उधर बेरोजगार है, इधर बैठ जा रहे उधर बैठ जा रहे, कुछ तो भी काम हमको दो. This economic crisis created deep anxieties and fears in the people. ये economic crisis की वजह से बहुत लोग डरे हुए थे. Savings of middle classes, especially salaried employees and pensioners, diminished when the currency lost its value. Now, जो लोग पैसे बचा के रखे थे 1000 or 2000 whatever currency they save, अब वो 1000-2000 की कोई वैल्यूएशन नहीं. इतने सालों से सेव करे सो पैसे की अब there is no value. Understanding this, small businessmen, self-employed retailers, they suffered losses. उनका business पूरा तबाह हो गया. It got ruined. These sections of society were filled with fear. Only organized workers could manage to survive themselves. But all these things put Germany in huge crisis. Women were unable to fill their children's stomachs, so they were filled with deep despair. This caused political instability as government after government failed and could not provide a stable rule. कोई भी government इसको ठीक नहीं कर पा रही. ऐसे में what happens now? We now come towards people of Germany getting a kind of feeling कि सारी दुनिया ने हम पे जुल्म किया है, ब्रिटेन ने हम पे जुल्म किया है, फ्रांस ने हम पे जुल्म किया है, and this gave birth to fascism and Nazism. Fascism was one ideology which developed in the period after the First World War, especially in the defeated countries. The idea was the idea of national unity in order to expand and win over other nations. Understand this. Fascists वो लोग थे which did not allow anybody to have conflict. They do not allow anybody to have different idea, disagreement, nothing. Obedience to central power. One leader and everybody should obey. They were against both communism and liberalism. They were against both. They said there is one leader, follow him. There is one leader, he will give you food, he'll give you everything. Just follow him. You cannot question him. That was fascism. They wanted to build unity in their nations through dictatorial state, and they promoted mass mobilization of majority community of the nation. Majority community को target करें. What is majority community? Like for example in India, we have 80% of Hindus, 17-18% of Muslims, and then we have Christians. So they targeted only the majority community. Understanding this is fascism. Now, fascist movements shared certain common features like worshipping the state. Understand this. Please listen carefully. Fascist movements shared certain common features. जितने भी fascist रहते उनके common features क्या थे? Worshipping of the state. माने वो लोग अपने मुल्क को भगवान मानते थे, उनकी इबादत करते थे. Worshipping of state. A devotion to a strong leader. माने एक लीडर, उन्हें सही करो गलत करो उसकी वजह से अच्छा हो बुरा हो, नहीं, हमारा लीडर कुछ गलत कर ही नहीं सकता. A devotion to a strong leader and an emphasis on extreme nationalism and military conquest. ये चार चीजें. Four things very important. First, they worshipped the state. They had a devotion to a strong leader. There was extreme nationalism. माने मेरा मुल्क सबसे अच्छा, दूसरा मुल्क बहुत खराब, मेरे मुल्क के सामने दूसरा मुल्क कुछ भी नहीं. Extreme nationalism and military conquest. हर जगह पे मिलिट्री का इस्तेमाल कर. Fascism used political violence, war and conquest as a means to achieve national revival. Now, everybody, please understand, this ideology was very popular in the defeated countries because they were feeling insulted because of the conditions given in the Treaty of Versailles. It began with the victory of Benito Mussolini in Italy. Then Hitler and his Nazi party came to power in Germany in 1933. General Franco came to power in Spain after a long military campaign against the democratic state in 1939. Meanwhile, Japan also developed its own ideology of fascism, that is militarism, and started its military campaigns in China, Korea. All these dictators were in some ways follower of fascist ideology. Now see here, now the world is seeing the rise of fascism. We had in Italy, we had Mussolini. In Germany, we have Hitler. In Spain, we have Franco. And then we have Japan developing its own ideology of fascism. So all these things, ये पूरे कौन से countries हैं? वो countries जो World War I हारे थे. Fascism is developing that. Fascism के ideologues क्या है? They worship their country. They follow their leader. Whatever the leader, whether right or wrong, they follow their leader. Third, extreme nationalism. माने मेरा मुल्क सबसे अच्छा, दूसरा मुल्क बहुत खराब. And the last one, military conquest. वो लोग बहुत power में believe करते हैं. Now we talk about Hitler. He was a powerful speaker. Hitler की speech सुन के like सबके अंदर full जोश भर जाता था. He was a very powerful speaker. His passion and his words moved many people. Strong nation is what he said. I want a strong nation. Treaty of Versailles has done lots of injustice. I want to get back that izzat, that dignity of the German people. He said, I promise employment for all those who are looking for work. He said to Germans, he said, I'll give you work. Be with me. He said, everybody against Germany is against us. Hitler devised a new style of politics. He understood the importance of rituals and spectacle to mobilize the masses. Nazis held massive rallies and public meetings to demonstrate support for Hitler and create a sense of unity among the people. The red banners with swastika, that was the Nazi salute, and the ritual rounds of applause after speeches were all part of his display of power. Hitler was wonderful at event management. बड़े बड़े रैलीज करो, नारे लगाओ, लोगों से तालियां बजवाओ, लोगों को, he mobilized his supporters by establishing racial supremacy of Aryans. He made that promise. He said, Hum, Aryans, the Germans, we are the supreme, the superiority of the Nordic race. He targeted the minorities. Jews, 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 Musa alayhi salam ki qaum. They targeted Jews and he killed so many of them. The Jews were minority in Germany. And he said, I don't want these people. And he sent them to gas chambers. He sent them to gas chambers wherein, they were killed like anything. Okay, he promised to build a strong state which would fight with everybody who is against Germany. Okay, the middle class who was threatened by capitalism and Great Depression now found solution in Hitler. Now everybody was only with Hitler and there was no other party. There was only one single party and that was the Nazi party. That was the unquestioned leader of Nazi party and he was Hitler. In 1928, Nazi party had got less than 2.6% of votes in Reichstag, the lower house of German parliament. But by 1932, he became the single largest party. 29 में 2%, 28 में 2.6%. By 1932, he got 37% vote. Hitler comes to power and now he immediately takes steps to establish undemocratic and autocratic rule. Now he says, no more democracy. I am the ruler. This is me, Adolf Hitler. He stopped the working of all democratic institutions like parliament. This included arrest of political opponents. जितने लोग हिटलर के खिलाफ इलेक्शंस लड़े थे, सबको arrest. Understanding? And he put them all in concentration camps. So all these things were being done in the world under Hitler. On 3rd March 1933, the famous Enabling Act was passed. This act established dictatorship in Germany. All powers were given to Hitler to sideline the parliament by Rus order. All political parties were banned except for Nazi party. एक ही political party, no more political parties. The state established complete over economy, media, army, judiciary, सब पे only the state, that is only Hitler's orders will be followed. No judiciary, no media, no economy, nothing. Special surveillance and security forces were created to control and order society in ways that Nazis wanted. Special surveillance बोले तो लोगों के ऊपर देखने की कोई मेरे खिलाफ जा रहा क्या? Special surveillance forces were made. Apart from the already existing regular police in green uniform and the SA or the stormtroopers, they also formed the Gestapo, secret state police, the SS, production courts, criminal police and security service. These extra constitutional powers of the newly organized forces gave Nazi states its reputation as the most dreaded criminal state. Gestapo के पास तो इतनी authority थी कि they would detain people to torture chambers, round up and send them to concentration camps. उठा के सीधा वो लोगों को concentration camps में डाल दे सकते थे. They did not have to put people before a magistrate or in front of judiciary. Everybody was given that much of power. Hitler assigned the responsibility of economic recovery to economist Hjalmar Schacht. Schacht aimed at full production and full employment through a state-funded work creation program. This project produced the famous German superhighways and the people's car, Volkswagen. Volkswagen is a German car. There was an improvement of living standards of a section of Germans. This period also created subhuman conditions of life for those who were tortured by the racist regime. Now, please understand, all this, he was making Germany stronger, or I should say, he was making Germany harmful. A country becoming very strong is a country becoming harmful. And this was what Hitler was doing. As war proceeded, Nazi regime started its horrible program of building racial supremacy of Germany by mass killings of minorities. अंडर द शैडो ऑफ द सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर, माने सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर हो रहा, ये लोग मुखबिर है, ये लोग हमारे से धोखा करेंगे, इस किस्म का एक अप्रोच बना के हिटलर स्टार्टेड किलिंग माइनॉरिटीज. ही किल्ड 6 crore Jews, he killed 20 lakh gypsies, he killed 1 crore Polish civilians, 70,000 Germans who were considered mentally and physically disabled, besides innumerable political opponents or people of different religious faith. Nazis devised a horrifying means of killing people. उन लोग का तरीका बिल्कुल एक खतरनाक था. They killed thousands of people in gas chambers in various killing centers like Auschwitz. And he used to put like 1,000 people in one room and close. People would die because they were not able to breathe. Come on, that is the way of killing. That was what Hitler did. Now coming towards the Second World War. Aggressive nationalism, militarism, imperialism, secret alliances, these were the reasons for Second World War also. But along with them, there were some special contexts. And what were they? The first reason, as everybody of us can make out, was the Treaty of Versailles. The intensity of the terms. जितनी नाइंसाफी जर्मनी के साथ, ऑस्ट्रिया हंगरी के साथ during the Treaty of Versailles happened, that was one basic reason. That, that instilled a great sense of insult by people of Germany, people of Austria. They felt insulted. That led them towards, anger to the countries who were victorious. Even then, the failure of the League of Nations was built, or it was put in place to stop the recurrence of a war. But League of Nations was influenced by Britain and France, and this was one reason why the League of Nations failed. When the League of Nations was established, neither Russia nor Germany was invited to become members. US could not become the member as US Congress refused to sanction Woodrow Wilson's proposal, even though he was very active in the formation of the League. Hence, League only had 58 members. It would help remove wars, that was what it was thought, but it could not settle disputes and it could not prevent wars. Although it showed a lot of promises and much was expected that this organization will ensure world peace, League of Nations failed. Now, third context which is very important is Germans' challenge to vengeful domination. Germany's defeat at the end of First World War, the victorious allies wanted to punish Germany for starting war and cripple it so that it could not rise again. For Germany, conditions which were given by Treaty of Versailles were slavish. Now this and Hitler with his Nazi party, they wanted to get back those territories which they have lost during the Treaty of Versailles again, and they said, we want to restore the German honor. Understanding this, so that was one very important aspect. And now the World War II's important reason was the fear from socialism and Russia. The disastrous results of First World War caused great social changes all over Europe. The working class now wanted socialism. Even in Europe, the factory workers and all, they wanted socialism. In Russia, the revolution of 1917, Russia became a communist state and it became the USSR in 1922. Now we had superpowers. We had the capitalist USA and we had the socialist USSR, and there was Cold War. Now The Western capitalist countries like Britain were afraid that revolutions like Russia will start in their countries also. Also, they encouraged Hitler and Nazis to come together against USSR. Now, Hitler and Nazis are joining Britain to fight USSR. This was the policy of appeasement of Hitler. They wanted to please Hitler to get support against USSR. And now here we have the immediate cause. World War I में immediate cause क्या था? Bosnian Serb killing the Crown Prince of Austria-Hungary. Now World War II, what was the immediate cause? The immediate provocation for World War II was when German army entered Poland on September 1st, 1939. Hitler enters Poland on 1st September. Why? Because he said it is a punishment to Poland for not giving Danzig port to Germany. Hitler thought that takeover of Poland will be a small military operation, but Poland had a defense pact with Britain. So Britain joined the Polish side. Britain आया Poland के वास्ते, and France also joined them a day later. This marked the beginning of World War II. Hitler enters Poland, Poland का दोस्त Britain और एक दोस्त France. Poland, Britain, France मिलके अब हिटलर से लड़ रहे हैं. As most of the fascist countries supported each other and began military conquest of neighboring countries, this led to the Second World War between Axis powers led by Germany, Italy and Japan on one side, Allied powers led by England, US, France and USSR. In 1941, Japan, an ally of Germany, attacked Pearl Harbor of USA. 1941 में जापान जो हिटलर का साथी था, it attacked the Pearl Harbor of USA. Hitler decided to attack USSR in 1942. With this, USA and USSR both joined against Germany and Japan. The defeat and the end, if you look at it, initial victories of German armies were turned back after they were defeated in the famous Battle of Stalingrad in 1943. All over Eastern Europe welcomed Soviet forces as liberators from hated Nazi rule. They eventually captured Berlin and they captured Germany. Hitler and his close associates, they committed suicide. Eventually, Germany was divided into two parts. Eastern part was named German Democratic Republic and western portion was named Federal Republic of Germany. This was the end of Hitler. In the west, Hitler's regime comes to an end, and in the far east, Japan surrendered to USA after Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed with atom bomb in August 1945. US armies occupied Japan but allowed Japanese emperor to continue to rule. But Japan built a constitutional monarchy like England, and Japan was to be ruled by elected government responsible to the parliament. The Japanese parliament is called as DIET, Diet. Many Nazi leaders and generals were captured and they were put to trial. The Nuremberg trials, they sentenced only 11 lead Nazis to death. Many others were imprisoned for life. Although justice happened, punishment given to Nazis was very little as compared to the brutality and the extent of their crimes. So now the Allies did not want to be harsh on Germany like they were harsh on Germany after the First World War. So the economic collapse of Germany and Japan after war, the US came up with Marshall Plan to fund the economic revival of these two countries. The US gave money, they put the Marshall Plan in place so that these countries' economy could be revived again. Likewise, the USSR came up with a package for the revival of East European countries. Now, if you look at the consequences of the world wars, now this is important. The second last part, as we said, the consequences of the world wars. Let us look at the consequences of the world wars which was there. The world wars had long-lasting impact on politics, society and economy of the world. If you look at the first half 20th century, it ended with the nightmare of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Lakhs of people killed in Japan with the atom bomb falling on these two cities of Japan. The First World War saw end of large monarchic empires. Second World War saw the end of large colonial empires. First World War saw the end of monarchy. Second World War saw end of imperialism. Many countries like India, China, Indonesia, Vietnam, Egypt, Nigeria, they became independent. Britain, the most powerful country before the war, now became secondary power. The primary power now was with US and the USSR. The USSR faced economic destruction and losses from Hitler's war, but it slowly rebuilt its economy. In victory, however, greatly increased the prestige in the world, and now it formed the large socialist camp. If you look about the enormous human costs, the first consequences of the two world war was many deaths and injuries. As stated earlier, 10 million people were killed in first. They included 75,000 Indian soldiers who fought in Africa and Europe on the British side, and about 25 million people died in the Second World War. Most of them who died were men, and almost all of them were under 40 years of age. Most of them were under 40 years of age. Deadly race of arms and weapons, particularly nuclear and chemical weapons, started during these world wars. The world still lives under the constant threat of war. Democratic principles asserted, the world understood the dangers of undemocratic government, and this led to people now wanting and demanding democracy in countries. In countries like Germany, in countries like Russia, there was democracy, and then there was change in balance of power. World War One, Germany, Austria, Hungary, Russian, Turkish empires, they all came to end. The map of Eastern and Central Europe was redrawn on the basis of nationality, economic viability, and military security. World War Two, when it came to an end, map of world changed yet again as ex-colonies became independent nations. Enfranchisement of women after a long struggle for political rights like right to vote. British women got these rights in 1918 because men were in the battlefield. More women had to work in factories, shops, offices. With this, a new confidence of becoming breadwinners, women began raising their voices for equality in all walks of life. And the last new international organization called as United Nations Organization was established. UN is a kind of world government based on four principles: preserving world peace, upholding human rights, respecting international law, and promoting social progress. It works through different agencies like UNICEF, UNESCO, WHO, ILO. The UNO, despite of being accused of becoming a tool of great powers like USA and USSR, it has managed to prevent wars and maintain peace and stability. Now, as of now, this is one organization which maintains world peace. Although many people say that UN is affected by US and Russia, these are the superpowers, but still it has been able to ensure world peace till date. So that was our lesson, the world during the world wars. Thank you.